Okay, first things first, we will be working on a custom chessboard tonight. And I have my checkerboard. I do have them available if you would like to make a purchase. First things first, safety is first. I do recommend that you wear a mask. I got this one from Amazon. What else I have? The amazing clear cast resin. That's the one that I use. I have paper cups. Whatever color mica powder you choose to use. Oh, can't forget the gloves, of course. Popsicle sticks. What else? Oh, also you will need whatever image you're gonna place on the board, but that'll come later in the video. Also, you will need tweezers. I have a Cricut, so I will actually be cutting the images shortly. But what I like to do first is to pour a very thin, clear layer on my board. And I will get started here. Okay, so first, I will be placing on my mask. So I will sound like Darth Vader shortly. Okay, so you probably can't hear me well, but I have on my mask. I will be putting on my gloves. And I will get started. Okay, so first I'll probably mix up about maybe 1 1/3 cup of resin. And that's just because I plan on pouring the thin layer of resin on the board, and then I'll mix the colors, and I'll make my first set for my checkers pieces, and I'll probably show you guys how to use these 3D molds, because even though they're not tricky to use, some people have had a hard time fully molding these molds. So let's get started. So I always use these big giant measuring cups. So probably what I'll end up doing is using the rest of the resin that I have in this bottle, because I do have 2 more gallons here. So we'll see how far I can get with this. And I will just sit that there, let it drain in there. Also, you'll need a silicone spatula. It just comes in handy when it's time to actually smooth the resin onto the board. So let me show you some examples of my pieces. I got some Lakers here. I did some pretty tie-dye ones with the alcohol inks. If you look closely, you can't really see. It has the crown on it. Got this really pretty purple here. That was for my Lakers. I'll try not to make this video too long. Okay, so this resin is the Amazing Clear Cast, and they have a part A and a part B, so there should be equal amounts that you use. This put me at about a cup and a half, so I'm at 12 ounces here, and we'll see how far 12 ounces gets me. So you guys know about the mixing. Just make sure you mix your resin really well. Okay, so I like to let the resin set a little while I decide which image I'm going to do tonight. I've already got one picked out, so let's continue to stir. Even though this resin is full of bubbles right now, I'll probably end up pouring that first layer anyway, because it's such a thin layer, and I will smooth it out and see if some of those bubbles come to the top themselves and pop. I never really have issues with clear cast. Okay, so oh, it's so cloudy. It's so cloudy. We'll see how this turns out. I'm in a crunch for time right now. So I usually pour about 2/3 cup. You want to make sure you completely cover the bottom of your, make sure you completely cover the bottom of your board. And with this brush here, I'm just smoothing it out. Okay, so I'm just making sure I hit every square here. And some of those bubbles are already rising up and popping on their own. Some spots are missing resin. I think it's pretty much covered. Add some specks here. Gonna put a little more. I see some spots missing. Resin. Gotta make sure your surface is as level as possible. These boards are completely flat once you lay them on a flat surface, but if you have something under that area, then your board will be uneven. You see so many little bubbles. I've never used a heat gun and had one. I'm almost tempted to go grab it. Okay, so that's that. This board is completely covered. I do see a few bubbles here and there. Hopefully they work themselves out. I usually let the resin sit until it becomes tacky. You do not want this resin to be wet when you place your pictures inside of it, or they'll just sink to the bottom, or sometimes they I don't know, sometimes they sit on top of the resin and it makes the surface uneven. So let me do that, and then I will go ahead and let's see how much I have here. How much did I use? I used a half a cup. Yep, I used a half a cup for the inside of the board, the first layer. I got some paper cups here, and I will be mixing some glitters and some mica just to do the pieces. I'm going to do half of the checkers pieces because I'll be placing an image inside of that also. And I will be doing two different colors. I'll be doing two different colors in the chess pieces. Which one is this? Number 3? Just trying to make sure I have at These two knights. Okay. Okay. One more here. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna make these pieces. Half of the checkers pieces are gonna be the image that I choose for my board. The other half is gonna be a glittery white. Probably use too much Micah, but oh well. I think I use way too much. I'm just using some glitter here. And you can go anywhere online or Etsy or Amazon to purchase glitters and Micah. This is a really fine, this is a really silvery, glittery color here. It's a real solid color here. Okay, so I'll be pouring these chess pieces with this. Okay, and with these 3D molds, they can be a little tricky. So when you're pouring them, you want to pour a little inside, and then you want to squeeze the mold so the resin comes to the top, and then you want to pour a little more. Every time you want to squeeze it, you want to make sure you get all the bubbles to pop out so that it completely fills the mold. Always start at the base. You'll know if the mold isn't completely filled because bubbles will continue to pop at the top. So make sure you squeeze and release. And continue to fill. So in this set, I'm just doing 5 of the chess pieces, but I actually have the 16-piece molds. Which is the full set. You'll just have to make sure you double the set. But make sure you squeeze and make sure you fill it to the top. Okay, so what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna fill half of these checkers pieces, and you can fill these to the top here. Okay, so I do believe that's going to conclude the first part of the video. I will be going to print my images, and I will let you guys know what size and everything. So let me show you what I'm doing here. Okay, so I am back, and what had happened was, I somehow stopped the recording. Don't know how. Whatever. But anyway, I'm gonna pour the last layer. I got about it's a cup in here. Can't see, it's level, but I have a cup in there, and I am going to go for the same color here, and it's gonna fill in the rest of this board. So the opposite square will be this pretty shiny color here, and I just used some pretty silver white and some glittery. It's like a holographic glitter here. I don't see my sticks. Resin. Throw them all over the place. It's not good. It's not fully mixed. I will be mixing it more than that. It's just, I'm gonna go ahead and add the other stuff in. I gotta get ready for work, but I did want to finish this video so that I can show you guys how I do this. Okay, so you do want to make sure you mix it fully and make sure you have equal parts of resin for the actual brand that you use. If it asks you to use half and half, or your resin will be sticky still. And as you can see, my resin was not sticky, so I did something right. Okay, so depending on if I have how much resin I have left, I will pour the back of those sugar pieces. As this said, it's just for my use and just for tutorial purposes. Okay, so now that it's mixed, I will make sure this board is flat because this is going to be the last layer. I'm going to go ahead and fill it in. Okay, once you fill that in, you want to take your spatula here and you want to smooth it out to get the full area covered. Again, this last layer, I mixed up a cup. And right now I'm just smoothing it out so that it gives a full coverage on the back of the board here. And by the time I get home, it should be fully cured so I can pop it out. Okay, board looks covered to me. And what I will do is just to cover the white backing here. It'd probably be better if I had a syringe, but I'm going to try to be careful and pour a little small dot there and smooth it out to cover the white backing. Okay, again, the measurements for the circles are 1.1 inches. The squares, 1.25. And it's perfect, so I'm not sure which, like if you buy the board from someone else, is it going to be the same size? It should be. And then you could also just tweak it to see. Right now I do have the boards and the pieces and the 16-piece chess mold on sale for $65, which is a steal. So it's going to be $65 plus shipping. This board is a 11 by 11 board, so it fits perfect in that medium priority mailer, the box, medium priority mailing box. Priority mail, 1 to 3 days. So you'll be set, you'll be ready to go. So you just fill these in. And it's okay if you get a little over. You can just peel that off once it starts to harden. It's still bendy. You kind of just rip that off. Get a razor blade or whatever you use to cut. Trim it off. Okay, so that's what the back of those will look like. Just clean it up a little. Okay, and I just want to show you guys something else that I was working on. These are napkin ring holders. A friend of mine asked to see if I could do something maybe Jamaican themed with the colors. So I'm doing this with one hand here. And this is how it came out. Those dots are for me pushing it down, which I probably shouldn't have gone so far deep. But look at the colors here. Also, I had ran out of resin, so it's a little funky. I was just using the rest of the resin.